What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another action figure review. And as you guys can see today, we're going to be taking a look at everybody's favorite Chill Sensei. No, I'm not talking about Kakashi Hatake. We are going to be looking at the My Hero Academia Shota Aizawa. And this is one that I have been stoked for quite some time now. And I hate to say I already have a problem with him, but we'll discuss that once I get the figure out of the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a look at that sexy packaging first. Now for the sexy packaging, it's pretty standard. It's the same thing we always get with McFarlane. It does say McFarlane Toys up top, ages 12 plus right there. My Hero Academia, the window packaging where you can see the figure. Of course, we do have him right here with the alternate head that comes with him. Thankfully, this is where he's using his quirk erasing technique. It says Shota Aizawa right there at the bottom. All the legal stuff no one cares about right here. But here's that barcode. If you guys are looking for him, feel free to pause that. You got an image of him right here standing where it kind of looks like he has his hands in his pocket. That's pretty dope. I like that. Right here it just says My Hero Academia, and then we have another image of him on the back where it's just saying him, full image, 22 moving parts, 7-inch action figure, and then all of McFarlane's social media. So that being said, that is the sexy packaging. Now let's go ahead and bust this figure out. Now, straight out of the packaging, I do have to say this is probably one of the best delivered My Hero Academia figures that they have done. Once again, I do have one specific problem with this guy, and I don't know how this happened, but if you guys look, if you can see, he's actually looking directly at the camera the way that I have him positioned, meaning that when he's turned forward, it looks like he's looking off to the right, which is weird because on the packaging, and I want to bring it forward for you guys to see, look, he's looking straight on the packaging. So mine is looking in the complete opposite direction, which is weird. I don't know how they made that mistake, but that's one of the issues I have as of right now. But other than that, in terms of the look, the design, the sculpt work, all of that is there. Simply because Aizawa does have a very simple design. He's got the long black hair. He's got the scruffy face. They got all the little crankiness in his eyes, which, I mean, I'm sure that's from him using his quirk and sometimes probably overusing it. So it makes sense. They even have the scar from when he was damaged by the Nomu. I'm very glad that they added that. The sculpt work, all of this, we've seen before. McFarlane does a good job most of the time when it comes to sculpting the clothing. Sometimes the faces look a bit off, but I know this one is a tall figure. That's one thing I'm going to say for you guys right now that are wondering about the height. I'm not going to be able to compare him to any of the other McFarlane stuff simply because I don't have those anymore. I sold a lot of those because I just wasn't feeling them. But this one right here is dope. And I have to say that they've been stepping it up. The first few figures they released, I just wasn't a fan of. Not because of the design, but the faces threw it off for me. Like Ochiko, I didn't really like hers. Deku's, I still didn't like his, even on the newer release. Todoroki, I didn't really care for his, even though he was one of the best in terms of articulation. Kirishima, Bakugo, I didn't like any of those. But with the newer stuff, like Stain and even Ida, those were really, really good. But this guy, I feel like is it. As you guys can see, there's matte blacks on here. There's a little bit of metallic in the belt. This piece right here, like the pants, is a little bit more metallic. Is there a swivel right here? Yeah, that's weird. Okay, I'll talk about that in articulation. That's a weird spot to have a swivel in. But yeah, it's several different colored blacks. So that makes me happy that they didn't go with just one color black, one solid color. Otherwise, this figure would be extremely bland. But not a whole lot going on. There's quite a bit of sculpt work, but in terms of the paint, you don't get much. It's mostly just black, 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 gray, lighter gray, black, and then the skin tone. So he definitely looks good, and I will say, if you're looking for this guy just to stand him in your collection or just to have a good Aizawa figure, this guy's totally worth picking up. Now let's go ahead and move along and see how tall he stands. Now, in terms of his height to the very top of his head, as you guys can see, he is literally right at 7 inches. So when they say that these are 7-inch action figures, they're not lying about it. That's exactly what this guy is, and I think that works. They actually did a really good job with this, keeping it in scale. Now, for the people who have some of the McFarlane toys, My Hero stuff, he's going to fit in perfectly. But if you're like me and you collect more of the import stuff, he's definitely going to look a bit tall. I'll show some size comparisons and get into that a little bit more later, but that is just an early heads up in case you're wondering about throwing this guy in scale with 6-inch figures. Articulation wise, as you can see, he does look up, but only about that much, which makes sense because the head starts to tuck into the clothing. So, and then he also has long hair, so that causes a problem as well. Now, as far as the neck goes looking down, you can definitely get him looking down. And I think that is very, very sick. As you guys can see, he's looking directly at the camera. That's such a problem, but it can really look good in shots. Anyway, you can get a whole lot of tilt out of it, as you guys see. That's not going to be a problem. The hair is a very, very soft plastic, and so you don't have to worry about it interfering too much. Just be careful because you don't want it to warp like this piece right here did. So that is something to be noted. This right here is a floaty piece, so you can just pop that on and off. You don't have to worry about it. He does get a whole lot of crunch forward, whole lot of crunch back, but you guys see what happens when you crunch back too much. I don't know what the engineering inside of this is, but I know this is the same thing that they used for Todoroki and also Shigaraki. Seems like it works very well for them, so I'm not complaining. Arms go up and out about that much. It looks like he has a butterfly joint built in there, but you can't really bring his arms over the chest at all. It looks like there's one in there, but I don't think it is. You do have a bicep swivel. You do have double jointed elbows, and they move very well with just one, as you guys can see. But he has double, so you can bring that all the way in and cover his face or whatever you want to do with it. So that's dope. He does turn at the waist, no problem at all. He kicks forward very, very well. That's dope. I'm happy about that. Oh, wow. Was not expecting that. But since that came off, I'm going to show it. His leg engineering is something I'm not familiar with. It looks like it just kind of plugs in there. Let me see if I can get it to go back in. That is so weird. I was not expecting that to pop off. There we go. Got that back on there. I like doing this stuff on camera so you guys can see all the issues I go through. But I'm not going to call that an issue. It's just it popped off because I was forcing it. Actually, it popped off again. Okay. Maybe I didn't put it all the way on. So I'm going to stop it right here, try to put this back on, and then we'll see what happens next. Okay, so when I did that the first time, I actually didn't pop it back on because once this thing was on the right way, it clicked really loud. So it let me know, hey, I'm back on. So I don't think that's something we have to worry about again. But yeah, he kicks out about that much. I don't know if you guys want to consider that a thigh swivel. If you want to, then we'll say yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Now he has a single jointed knee, and this I am not a fan of. I feel like they could have sculpted this in there somehow. Maybe with how high his boots are, it was a little bit difficult. I don't know. I really feel like they could have done something about that. But something that is weird is right here where the knee connects to the lower part of the baggy pants. You have a swivel. So it's not a swivel at the boot, but it's a swivel at the boot. I don't know. That's weird. But as you guys can see, that's about as much as his foot's going to go back. So if you're trying to get him in super dynamic poses, it's not going to do it, unfortunately. Now his foot goes down about that much, up about that much. Of course, you get the ankle rocker, and of course, you get the toe hinge. So he's definitely slacking at the knees. I would say that's probably the only part of the articulation where this guy is very, very lackluster. Everything else works just fine. Now, when it comes to the accessories, this guy is, of course, lacking because most times McFarlane just doesn't really throw anything in. Sometimes they will, other times it's just like, what the heck, man? This guy comes with the stern face that you see on him right now, where mine is looking off to the right for whatever reason. He comes with an alternate head sculpt, and this I like. This is where he's actually using his eraser quirk. I dig this. And then they also gave us, it's almost like an effect piece, if that's what you want to call it. But basically where the bandages around his neck raise when he's activating his quirk. This is something that's cool. I'm very glad they included this, because if they would have included this head and not this, then it just wouldn't have worked because these activate together. But other than that, you get no alternate hands, no nothing else. You do just get this stand that comes with every McFarlane figure. And so, honestly, Aizawa, I know he doesn't use a bunch of crazy techniques, but I've seen him use small blades like daggers and things, and it would have been so dope to throw in something like that, something small. If not that, if that's too much, maybe at least throwing in a pair of fist hands. Like, this guy is a superhero. He fights villains for a living. Like, come on, man. McFarlane, start throwing in the fist hands. Like, it gets to a point to where somebody's got to say it, and I'm going to say it. We need fist hands with action figures. Now, for some size comparisons, here's where things get pretty interesting. All of this is really going to be opinion-based, honestly. Here he is standing next to the McFarlane Toys first release Deku. Now, I do have the Age of Heroes head sculpt on here from the statue. This was done by my boy Friendly Neighborhood Collector, so that's why it doesn't look like the original figure. This is the only one from the McFarlane figures that I've decided to keep other than Shigaraki until an import company makes Shigaraki. But then also here he is standing next to the Figma Deku. Now I feel like this one is a little too small or too tall, and then this one is a little too small. But since Aizawa is extremely tall, you could make this work. And then of course here is Shigaraki right here, who's just absolutely too tall, period. Now next up, diving into some more imports, here he is standing next to the Figma Ochiko, who, I don't know, she looks like she's 5 years old compared to him. Here he is standing next to Todoroki, who is just absolutely too small. I don't know what Good Smile Company was thinking with making him this height. But then we have Kirishima, who actually looks really good standing next to Aizawa. That actually looks like that could be accurate. Meaning, if they would have made Todoroki the right size and maybe Ochiko about a hair taller, these could look good together. You can wedge it in photos, but no matter what, at the end of the day, Todoroki is too small. Next up, here he is standing next to the Revoltech Deku, which I feel like this one is probably the most perfect because it seems like it fits in scale just fine. Deku is pretty small anyway, so that actually looks pretty good. Then we have the Revoltech All Mights, which that's just perfect. They went overboard with the size on this guy anyway, and honestly, I don't even feel like this is a 6-inch scale figure. That's definitely a 7-inch scale figure. So, All Might works just perfect. And then, of course, we have Bakugo, which I feel like that works too. I feel like Bakugo is a really good size to go with this Aizawa. So, most of the UA figures from Figma aren't too bad. Now, lastly, just in case you want to get your superhero mix-up on, here he is standing next to an SH Figure Arts Avengers in-game Iron Man, which clearly just won't work. A Marvel Legends Retro Wave Spider-Man, which doesn't look too bad. And then, of course, a Mezco Custom Batman, which probably looks the best. I feel like these two would be great partners. Now, for my final thoughts on this guy, I have to say that I feel like he's a really good-looking figure with decent articulation and just lackluster when it comes to the accessories. And I know there's not a whole lot they could have thrown in with this guy, but once again, it's to the point to me with McFarlane figures, no fist hands is an automatic deduction at this point. We're getting action figures from these guys. Batman, Superman, characters from My Hero Academia, Mortal Kombat. Why are these figures not coming with fist hands? Why does Superman come with 2 relaxed hands? He's not slapping Darkseid. You get what I'm saying? And I know this is anime, but I'm just talking about McFarlane overall. They are diving into so many realms in terms of superheroes, and I'm pretty sure at this point they have some recycled fist hands that they can just paint and throw in. So I had to throw that little rant out there, but the figure looks good. Mine has an issue with the eye looking off to the right. That's not something you guys are going to have, so that's a personal nitpick for me. I really wish they could have made the double knees work, double jointed knees, but I'm not going to harp on that one because maybe it just was difficult to do design-wise. I'm not a customizer. I don't know anything about making figures, so that's not something that I'm going to gripe about. I wish they could have done it, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. But overall, I mean, it's a cool figure. If you like Aizawa, you're definitely going to be happy with this. Now, if this is one you're just going to be standing on your shelf, then by all means, you will probably love this thing. Now, if you're someone who's going to be posing him around, taking shots of him, I think for the most part, you will still also be very satisfied. He just might not be able to hit every single pose that you want to get him in, but it's very few that he won't be able to do. The torso articulation is exceptional. It just kind of lacks at the legs, but for the most part, they did a pretty good job. So my only gripe really is the accessories. That's it for me. So I don't know. If I had to rate this figure, I'd say I'll give it a 7 out of 10. He's definitely passable. Definitely a figure you should have in your collection, especially if you are a fan of My Hero Academia, because at this point, it doesn't seem like any import companies are going to deliver this guy. I'm hoping for Figma to jump on this one. That would be so amazing, but I don't see it happening. And also, if you guys hear clicking noises in the video, I'm sorry. I just realized my bracelet was like going off, and I know my microphone catches everything. But yeah, anyway, dope figure. If you can get your hands on him, he's 19 bucks. Go pick him up. Why not? But overall, that is my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And lastly, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and stay safe wherever you are. Peace.